Yo, what's up, guys? It's Ben10clem here, back with another video, and it's the final Ben10clem poll top 25. Now that the college football season's over, this is the final poll I got, and I'm not sure what I'll do with content afterwards, but at least I told y'all I'll give you my final poll. So, obvious number 1 and 2 spots for me is obviously the person that won the Natty, and then the other team that that came runner-up in the Natty. So, number 1 spot is Ohio State. Congratulations to Ohio State Buckeyes for making the Natty and winning it. They definitely had something to prove, and they proved me wrong. My prediction was going to be a rematch of the Big Ten Championship was Oregon and Penn State, but I was wrong. Very, very wrong. But congratulations to Ohio State. They won 34-23 against Notre Dame, which is why Notre Dame's number 2. They move up 4 spots. They've definitely done pretty good. They've done good for themselves. Marcus Freeman built a really strong squad. And Ryan Day came out. That whole team came out after that Michigan loss, proving that the AE could win a Natty, and they did. They proved everyone wrong. I kind of sheared away from them from even thinking they'd have a chance. I thought they'd lose round 1 to Tennessee, but yeah, I was wrong. Okay, now where we go into different spots. So number 3, I am dropping Penn State 1 and putting them at 3. I think they deserve the 3 spot over Texas, personally. I think Penn State is a better rounded team than Texas, especially throughout the playoffs and the bracket during the playoffs. Because you had, Texas had to play Clemson to start. Clemson was, the only team that actually put up somewhat of a fight against a school in the first round. So, yeah. And then Texas went into overtime against Arizona State. To be honest, should not have happened, especially if you're Texas. So, I don't think... And then they kind of just got outplayed by Ohio State the entire time. Ohio State just had a dominant run through the whole thing. So, yeah. Oregon, just because they were a 1 seed, I'm not dropping them far. I don't think they need to be dropped far. And I still don't think they should be above they're below Texas, so I have Oregon at 4. They did lose pretty bad to Ohio State the first game they had to play, and that was their bye. They were the first round bye, and it was 41-21. Pretty damn ugly. Ohio State just controlled the game in the Rose Bowl, and they couldn't do anything. But, I mean, it happens. Maybe it shows that having a bye week isn't that much of an advantage because you're kind of not warmed up when that game comes. Texas at 5. I explained why. Georgia at 6. Georgia lost to Notre Dame. I get they didn't have Carson Beck. Now that Carson Beck's gone, going to Miami, but Carson Beck isn't really all that either. Georgia just, this year, don't get me wrong, I think they were a great team, really good team, but they just did not perform well whatsoever in that game against Notre Dame. It was 23-10. Just Georgia didn't show up to play and lost. It's simple as that. Now, number 7, moving up 6 spots, had them at 13. Last poll, if you guys go look, is Arizona State. They came in at a 12 seed. Well, they were a 12 seed, but they came in and they had a bye because they won the Pac-12. It would have been Clemson if Clemson was ranked a little bit higher than them, but they took Scatterboo, and their quarterback was very, very good. They took Texas to OT, almost beating Texas. It was a really, really good game. I thought that game would be a blowout out of all the 4 games, but it was the closest game, which is wild. So I have to give respect to Arizona State. I think they did a very, very good job. They're going to 7. Now, Boise State at 8. I'm not moving them up or down. I think they are fine where they're at, staying at 8. They did lose pretty badly to Penn State. It was 31-14. I mean, Penn State just stopped the run game. Genty couldn't do anything. I mean, it's hard to do that when you only got really one player carrying you because they can't pass worth anything. So, Boise State had a great team this year. I mean, a great run. Don't get me wrong, they had a bye week and just couldn't do it. But congratulations to Penn State for beating them. But Boise State should be proud. I think they're 8, and that's a good spot for them. Now, some of y'all might be controversial about this, but basing off all the teams that played in the first round, Clemson looked the best. Because Ohio State destroyed Tennessee 42-17. Texas versus Clemson 38-24. Penn State 38-10 against SMU. And then Notre Dame 27-17. The only reason that was like a 10-point game was just because conditions were horrid for the Penn State game and the Notre Dame game. So I was like, there's going to be mistakes all over the place with those two games, which there definitely was with Indiana. So, and I put Clemson at 9 because I think they were the best team that was in the first round, or played the best out of the first round teams that lost. So Clemson is going to go at 9. And I'll go into more depth maybe closer to the new college football season about Clemson because I'll say it now. I think they're going to be a heavy, heavy contender. I think Cade's definitely going to be Heisman finalist. The bold prediction, but I don't really think it's that bold. He was already really good at the end of the year. Debated to be put in the Heisman. But next year, 2025, he's got it, I think. Number 10, Indiana. Indiana drops 1 spot. They drop 1. Yeah. Not much to say. They couldn't compete. They struggled. And I know the conditions were bad. The weather conditions were super frigid, snowy conditions. It's just, still, you lost. It can't be helped. Now, going into number 11 seed. Last time it was South Carolina, but they lost their bowl game to Illinois. The SEC kind of got dominated this year. I mean, surprisingly enough, they got dominated, which is wild to say. But yeah, let me go look for the Ole Miss game. Because I know Ole Miss played. Yeah, Ole Miss played Duke. Absolutely destroyed them 52-20 in the Gator Bowl. I moved them up 4 spots to 11. SMU, I did not move. I feel like they didn't need to move. 12's fine where they're at. They're not used to playing in the cold conditions. I don't think anyone, if you're from Texas, is used to playing in 11-degree temperature, snow, icy temperatures. Yeah, you're not going to be used to that. So I still think SMU was not terrible this year. Dropping the most out of everything in my poll is Tennessee. They disappointed me the most. I thought they'd actually beat Ohio State at Ohio State. But boy, was I wrong. They could not do anything. It was ugly. It was a bloodbath. Ohio State just handled them. Manhandled them. It was disgusting. So they went from 5 down to 13, and they dropped low. I think that's all I can really say about Tennessee is just, wow, fell off. And then dropping 3 spots is South Carolina. They ended up losing their bowl game as well. South Carolina played Illinois in the Cheez-Its Citrus Bowl. It was 21-17. Illinois ended up beating them. Played well. Played good ball, but they just got outplayed. I mean, Big Ten's been just destroying SEC. Like, Big Ten, it's just, I think they were the best this year. You can't deny that. Then at number 15, we have Memphis. I know some of y'all are going to be like, why is Memphis above Alabama? I think Memphis looked better. They played better. They played a great game in the Miami Beach Bowl against West Virginia, 42-37. They won really well. Now going on to Alabama at number 16, I'm dropping them 2 spots. They dropped 2 spots because they lost a bowl game. And they lost, let's see. I'm pretty sure they lost to a Big Ten school as well. Let's see. Yeah, they lost to Michigan. 13-19. Just got outplayed. You can't say anything other than that. I mean, they got beat in the Request Bowl. Big Ten just owned SEC this year. So, yeah. And now, next, moving up 2 spots is BYU. BYU, they still deserve to stay in the top 25. They did have a great year. I mean, previously they've never been great by any means, but they definitely stepped up and played. They played Colorado and demolished them. So much for their Heisman-winning QB, in my opinion, or wide receiver and defensive player hybrid. Should not have even won the Heisman. Should have gone to Genty, but Colorado got outplayed. They even played, so Shedeur Sanders got shit on. There was just nothing they could do. BYU manhandled them, 36-14. Yeah. That's why you see, looked at the dropped out of top 25 list, you see Colorado down over there. So, Iowa State up next, moving up 6 spots. Pretty big jump. Iowa State lost pretty bad in their championship game. The ACC, or not the... Why can't I think? Cannot think straight. The Big 12 championship game. They lost badly to Arizona State, but then they played in the Pop-Tarts Bowl and beat Miami. I think if Cam Ward would have played the second half, they would have lost, but Cam Ward just lost. Just decided, yeah, I'm not going to play the second half. I've never seen a player do that in a bowl game. You normally opt out of the whole game, or you decide to play the game. He decided to play the first half of the game. Like, what? I feel like that's a fucked up thing to do to your team, and yeah. So Miami drops 3 spots to 19 after their loss, 42-41. Iowa State ended up winning, putting Iowa State above them. Deserves to be above them there. Now, Syracuse. They moved up 2 spots. They're now ranked 20. Syracuse had a good year, not going to lie. They helped Clemson get into the ACC championship, therefore allowing them to get into the playoffs. Like, that was big. And they played in the Holiday Bowl against Washington State, which was ranked previously a couple weeks ago. 52-35, they dominated. It was not really close. Syracuse had a great game. They played well, and that's why they move up 2 spots. Now, up next is Missouri. Now, if we look at Missouri here, I'm still not that high on Missouri. I mean, they did play in the Music City Bowl, and they did end up winning. Barely. 27-24. It was a close game against Iowa, which Iowa was ranked a couple weeks ago as well. Iowa was not a bad team this year either. But I don't feel like that justifies them moving up any more than they already are. So they're staying the same for me. Now, newly ranked, they've been in and out of the rankings for me, is Illinois. They've been up and down for me. But after their win against South Carolina, I'm like, yeah, they're back in the rankings. They deserve to be. South Carolina had a great team. Little Sanders, definitely going to be a really good quarterback next year, someone to watch out for. Hell, he was a true freshman. Think about what he's going to do as his sophomore year. I think he's going to go crazy. That's some worry for Clemson, too, if you got to be careful. Illinois ended up winning 21-17. They deserve to be back up in the rankings. They were already in the rankings previously when I created the Week 16 poll, but I didn't have them there. So, yeah. 23, Ohio State Bobcats. Moving up 2 spots. I think Ohio State Bobcats were very underrated. They did not end off in the top 25 and on the normal polls, but they were 11-3. They played in the Cure Bowl and ended up winning 30-27 against Jacksonville State Gamecocks. They were a 9-4 team, but then they lost, so it was 9-5. Ohio State Bobcats won 11-3. That's pretty damn good for them. So I think they deserve a spot in the top 25, and that's where they're going to go, right there. And if you guys remember my Week 16 poll, I dropped UNLV out of the top 25, but they're now back in. So UNLV Rebels played in their bowl game against California Golden Bears, and they won 13-24. The Rebels ended with an 11-3 season, finishing off very well, very strong. They deserve to be number 24 in my book. And then Army is being ranked 25. Whether you all agree with me or not on that, the game, Army and Navy game does not count towards any rankings. It's just the Armed Forces Bowl. That's a thing that just happens every year. It does not affect their rank or Navy's rank. It's just a service showdown pretty much. So that, I don't count them losing to Navy. It just does not affect their rankings. That's not how this goes. So they played in a bowl game, and they played against Louisiana Tech Bulldogs, which were 5-8. Yeah, I don't know why they made a bowl game, but okay. Army handled business. They're back in the rankings for me as well. They won that game 27-6. So we're gonna go back over here, and then dropped out of the top 25 is Texas A&M. Texas A&M ended up losing their game, which they lost to USC, a Big Ten school, 35-31 in Las Vegas Bowl. Marshall also ended up losing. If we go find Marshall here, they ended up losing their... Oh, no, they won their bowl game. Why did I drop them out? I just feel like Army deserved it more. Yeah, they played the Raging Cajuns, and it was 31-3. But did they? No, that wasn't even a bowl game. Hold up. That was not even a bowl game. My bad, guys. That was just the championship game. So, yeah, they didn't even get to play in a bowl, which is why I dropped them out. I keep forgetting that. I did all this, like, a week ago with, like, certain teams, like the ones that only had bowl games, and I knew the teams that obviously are in the playoffs. So, yeah, that was on me. I apologize, but, yeah, that's going to be the final rankings. Texas A&M, Colorado, and Marshall all dropping out. And then we'll go over the biggest losers real quick. Only dropping one spot. Penn State, Texas, and Indiana. Dropping 2 spots. The only team that dropped 2 spots for me is Alabama. Dropping 3 spots. Miami, South Carolina, Oregon, and Georgia. And then dropping 8 spots is Tennessee. So that is the final top 25 Ben10clem poll. I mean, this has been a really fun year. It's been a really fun thing for me to do content-wise. I really enjoyed doing these. I know that you guys might think I'm stupid for calling myself this, but I think now I can consider myself a very amateur college football sports analyst. And I think this has been fun. Helped me understand football more, like, know football more, look at other teams more, see how other teams play, etc. But yeah, all I'm gonna say to end this off is thank you for the support on these polls I've done. It means a lot, and we're also gonna. It's just like can't thank y'all enough. It's been great having it and completing everything. Being done and just not sure what I'll do for content, but for now we're leaving it where it's at. And we do have, if you guys wanted to know, I did the poll or the group. The groups were for our bracket group challenge. Here we all got our natties wrong. But here you go. This is the groups. Zach ended up winning the whole thing. I came second, Braxton third, and Tyler tied in third. Technically fourth, and then fifth is this. And I'd say 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10, 11. So, yeah. Anyways, thank you all for the support through this whole college football season. It's been fun. It's been fun doing these polls with you guys, fun reviewing games, and fun reviewing what I got right and wrong. But I'll see you guys next football season. Give me content ideas down below. I need them. It would help out a lot. Anyways, thank you all for keeping up with the Ben10clem poll through these past couple weeks and a month or two. Anyways, I'll see you guys in the next one. Blue missed out. Peace.